Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live on Monday and Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel. And happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss. It is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. You can contact me on Discord. My name there is @DougP. Also in Bookmap Discord, there is an Options-Doug chat channel. You can post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and the topics of the channel that I'll go through in just a moment. I'm also on X. My name there is @DougPless. Here are the key tenets to my approach for trading. And I go over this because this is a new approach to trading, and there may be new traders here who may not understand this. So I believe that options trades and market maker hedging activity are key drivers of price of many stocks and futures, certainly in the large cap tech stocks like the Mag 7 stocks, as well as the equity index futures like the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. And for the S&P 500, SPX is the underlying index, SPY is the ETF version of that index, and the ES futures contract is a derivative of SPX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in SPX and SPY, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with ES futures. If the NASDAQ 100, NDX is the underlying index, QQQ is the much more liquid ETF version of that index, and the NQ futures contract is a derivative of NDX. And just like the S&P 500, when traders buy and sell puts and calls in NDX and QQQ, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with NQ futures. The focus of my presentation today and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis and for setups. And when I talk about setups today, I will be focusing on an underlying asset. Setups in that asset can be taken with futures contracts, shares of stock, or options, depending on the asset and the way you like to trade. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions or comments. Please feel free to post. I'll do my best to answer your questions. Hello, Stephen. Welcome. Glad you're here. All right, here's my agenda for today. Monday, March 17th. First of all, I want to go over news items, economic data, and events for today as well as the rest of the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis from today. Then I'll review some setups earlier today. Then I'll get to live market. And when I get to live market, if anyone has any stocks or anything else they want me to take a look at, please let me know and I'll be glad to do that. All right, let's get started with news items, economic data, and events. So first of all, retail sales data could come out this morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And the number was, and let me check that, meant to write that down. And retail sales came in less than expected, but greater than the previous number. And there was a bullish reaction to the retail sales data. Right here, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Sharp move up. And then this is the pullback to 9:30 cash open, and the rally resumed up to around SPY 566. So that was the retail sales, came in less than expected, but greater than the previous number. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the week now and see what's coming up. And let's go back to the... All right, so first of all, this week, the big NVIDIA AI conference is going on all week. I believe it starts today, ends on Friday, and you can, if you want to know more, you can go to the NVIDIA website to check the schedule. And my understanding is that Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, will be speaking tomorrow at 1 p.m. with a keynote address. So that's going on all week, NVIDIA's big conference. All right, so let's take a look at the rest of the week. This is the events calendar on the Spotgamma dashboard home screen. So you can see retail sales there this morning. Tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, housing starts, building permits. Also, I believe tomorrow is fixed expiration. And then on Wednesday, the big event of the week is the FOMC announcement and meeting, press conference. So the meeting ends 2 p.m., the announcement comes out, and then 2:30 p.m. the press conference. And that will be right in the middle of my webinar. So, of course, I'll drop whatever I'm doing, and we'll watch the live market at 2 p.m. And then Thursday, jobless claims. And let me check just a second. Thought there was something else. Thursday, jobless claims, existing home sales. And then on Friday is the big monthly options expiration, and that's shown right here. What this chart is showing is the options concentration, delta notional expiration. This is market makers delta notional by expiration, and this is the March expiration, the large quarterly March expiration, showing blue bars showing put delta notional. Excuse my voice, I'm getting over a cold. Put delta notional, negative delta notional. That's the blue bars, and the orange bars showing call delta notional. That's positive delta notional, and this is for the S&P 500, Nasdaq, and Russell 2000. And you can see this is a put-dominated options expiration, and options expiration can often mark a turning point in the market. And in this case of a put-dominated expiration and a downtrend, that could mark a turn to the upside. All right, so that is the options expiration on Friday. So really the big events, FOMC on Wednesday, options expiration on Friday. All right, let's move on to positional analysis. Let's take a look at the S&P 500, ES futures and Bookmap. And again, I mentioned the two bullish moves after the data release at 8:30 a.m. retail sales, then after the open. And then it's pretty much been a choppy market ever since, and looks like now turning around. Kind of a slow grinding turnaround in the S&P 500. SPY level, and by the way, I have rolled over to the June contract. So I'm using the M contract. This is the ES June contract and Nasdaq June contract. And note the ES to SPX difference has widened out quite a bit with the June contract. So right now, here's an SPX level, 5650. And I'm showing that at ES 5705. Sorry, I don't know why that's not responding. Let's go to another. Right back to ES. All right, so the levels on this chart, mainly SPY levels, just round number SPY levels in play for today. Right around 561 acting as support this morning, and 566 acting as resistance, 563 support, and these are just round number SPY levels. And now ES up to highs of the day. We'll take a look at setups in just a minute. All right, so that's the S&P 500 levels in play. Before taking a closer look at this chart, let's step back, take a look at a higher time frame. I'm going to go to the SPX. Whoops. SPX. This is a 1 year chart, 1 day, 1 year chart showing SPX. And SPX has been in a bit of a correction. And note last Thursday found support right around the 5,500 put wall. All right, let's take a look now at a 30-day 1 hour chart. So there's that support at the 5,500 put wall last Thursday. And SPX continues to move up after that support on Thursday, trending up. All right, let's take a look at the levels on this chart. First of all, the expected moves. Dashed purple line showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. That's based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX from last Friday. Then the dashed blue line showing the lower and upper daily expected move. That's also based on the options market. And SPX is now, looks like maybe heading up toward the upper daily expected move. All right, the dark red lines on this chart are Spotgamma levels. These are provided to Spotgamma subscribers. They're available on a variety of trading platforms. So this is Thinkorswim, again, a 30-day 1 hour chart. I'm going to point out the key daily levels. First of all, the put wall remains at 5,500. That was the level that acted as support around that level last Thursday. Next level up is the absolute gamma strike. That's at 5,600. That's the L1 label there. That's a strike with largest absolute positive and negative gamma. And the put wall is a strike with largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. And most of the gamma weighted open interest is concentrated at the absolute gamma strike at 5,600. Next level up is the volatility trigger at 5,900. That's a strike with the largest, that is the Spotgamma's proprietary gamma and volatility flip level. Below that level, like SPX is trading now, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to edge their delta exposure. That tends to enhance or increase volatility. And SPX is trading well below that level, definitely in a very negative gamma environment. In a negative gamma environment, I'm looking for a lot of movement. Wider movement, wider range, more trending days. And that's why the price action today so far has not really been typical of a negative gamma environment. And then finally, the call wall remains at 6,500. That's a strike with large net positive gamma. That can be expected to act as a resistance. And shifts in levels. The volatility trigger did shift lower from Friday, and the absolute gamma strike shifted higher. It was at 5,000 on Friday, shifted now up to 5,600. All right, so those are the key daily levels. And let's wrap up our view of SPX with a 1 minute chart. So we can take a closer look at the levels in play for the last few days. So again, there's that support around the 5,500 put wall last Thursday. And then the rally that began on Thursday afternoon really continues higher. And on Friday, SPX found support right around the long put of the JP Morgan collar that expires at the end of the month. So JP Morgan, this fund, JEHQX, is long the 55.65 put and short the 4,700 put, I believe, that expires on the 31st, the end of the month. All right, so the rally continues. A little bit of, quite a bit of chop this morning. Choppy reversal. Now SPX moving higher, highs of the day. All right, so again, levels in play. And this is the ES chart, ES futures and Bookmap. And I have SPX levels and SPY levels on this chart. I've talked about the differences in price between ES and SPX. With a new contract, those differences widen out quite a bit. Also, the ES to SPY ratio increases quite a bit. And the SPY round number levels have definitely been in play for today. All right, so we'll talk about setups in just a few minutes. Let's move on to NASDAQ. NASDAQ, I thought, was easier to trade today. All right, here's NASDAQ, NQ Futures and Bookmap. And let's take a quick look at the underlying index charts. I'm going to go to QQQ first. Here's QQQ. First of all, this is made a great short setup this morning. This reversal at the 483 call wall. And the call wall acted as resistance as expected. And NASDAQ moved lower down to the QQQ 478 round number level. Here's the volatility trigger for QQQ. Note QQQ is trading now above its volatility trigger. All right, so that's QQQ. Let's take a look at NDX. So again, two keys there, call wall reversal, and then the QQQ currently trading above its volatility trigger. All right, let's take a look at NDX. And for NDX, key levels, this 19,800 level, that's a large gamma 3 level, acted as resistance earlier today, maybe acting as resistance again. And this 19,724 level, that's a combo 4 level. Both those levels in play for today. Support and resistance. All right, back to NQ Futures in Bookmap now. So just like the S&P 500 ES, there was a very bullish opening drive that lasted just a few minutes. In the case of NASDAQ, very clear resistance at the 483 call wall level that you expect to act as resistance. There's the resistance at the 19,800 level, NDX. Finally, support at the 478 level. And just like the ES, the NASDAQ is now started turning around, moving higher. All right, so I thought much more clear resistance levels for NASDAQ than the ES today. And we'll talk more about setups in just a few minutes. All right, so let's wrap up shifts in levels. First of all, for NDX, volatility trigger shifted lower, put wall and absolute gamma strike all shifted higher, all to 20,000. So for NDX, 20,000 is the volatility trigger, the put wall, and the absolute gamma strike. And for QQQ, the volatility trigger also shifted lower, and the put wall also shifted higher, and the call wall shifted higher. And again, the call wall acting as resistance. And Nasdaq moving right up to that level again, and we'll see how NQ reacts at that level again. All right, let's wrap up our positional analysis by taking a look at Gamma. I'm going to start with Gamma notional market maker's position on the Gamma curve at the beginning of the day. So again, this is market maker's position on the Gamma curve at the beginning of the day. For the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Russell 2000, note all these numbers are negative, quite negative, but less negative than Friday. And remember, in a negative gamma environment, this indicates for an index that traders are long puts, market makers are short puts. Hence the negative gamma, they have to trade with price. So they're selling as price moves down and buying as price moves up. All right, let's move on to a real-time picture of gamma now. This is the trace tool in available to Spotgamma subscribers. And the red shading indicates negative gamma, and the blue shading indicates positive gamma. So in a negative gamma, again, we're expecting faster movement, wider movement, not really like this narrow trading range in the morning. But anyway, this is showing that Nasdaq, SPX, is in a pocket of negative gamma, red shading. Let's step back in time. Fairly low stability index. It's shown right here. Step through time. Stability index did get down to single digits. Now back up to around 20%. And it looks like SPX is now trading above the Spotgamma one-day implied move high. Up to this positive gamma strike at 56.80. And this looks like a trader short call spread. Maybe part of an iron condor, Captain Condor, iron condor. So this is the market maker's position here, positive gamma. And the trader's position is a short vertical call spread. All right, so that's the picture of gamma now. And it looks like SPX is leaving some of that more negative gamma down below. All right, so my thesis for today, I was looking for a higher volatility based on the negative gamma as well as the low stability index. All right, so let's move on now. Let's take a look at some, let's start with some setups. Let's start with the S&P 500. And this is the HIRO signal. HIRO is H-I-R-O, Hedging Impact or Time Options. This is available to Spotgamma subscribers. There are two signals that we can take a look at for the S&P 500. So what this chart is showing is options trades and market maker hedging activity for the S&P 500 index, the index components, SPX, SPY, ES, and XSP. The white line is price for SPX, and the other line, the candlesticks now, this is a beta environment, staging environment, showing candlesticks for the HIRO signal. This is the total HIRO signal, and again, this is the index signal. We'll take a look at the equity signal in just a minute. We can also change to puts and calls. Orange line showing calls, blue line showing puts. So what this is showing, let's zoom in on this just a little bit. In the morning, traders were buying calls and buying puts. And that's the puts shown by the falling blue line indicates traders are buying puts. That's a negative delta position. And initially they were buying calls, took the foot off the gas. Buying calls, took the foot off the gas, continued to buy puts, and the price started to move lower. And let's go back to the total signal. Overall, trending down. After a very brief, let me zoom in again, very brief bullish opening drive. Remember all those green volume dots. Very brief bullish opening drive. Lasted for about 7 minutes. Then the hero signal started to make a series of lower highs. Now let's take a look at the other hero signal. This is the equity signal. This is showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for the S&P 500 index components, all the stocks, the 500 stocks, and the S&P 500 index. A little bit of chop right at the opening, then a bullish opening drive. Then the signal started to make a series of lower highs. Let's shift to puts and calls. Excuse me, kind of the opposite of the index signal. So we know in the index signal, again, remember, traders were buying puts. In this case, for the equity signal, they're selling calls. All right, so let's go back to Bookmap now. Go back to ES. Zoom in just a bit. All right, so there's that very bullish opening drive. You can see all the green volume dots in Bookmap. The volume dots show market buy minus sell. Green volume dots indicate more buyers than sellers. And price quickly jumps up from right below 563 all the way up to 566. Finds resistance at that level. And finally starts to move lower as traders buy puts in the index components and sell calls in the equities. Price moves lower, right back down to 563. All right, so that's the ES futures and Bookmap. We'll take a look at what's going on in just a moment. And again, I thought NASDAQ was a much better trade this morning. Much easier read for me anyway, with the reversal at the 483 call wall, and again at the NASDAQ 800 large gamma 3 level. I thought the down trim was a little bit better defined. All right, so let's see what options traders are doing in NASDAQ. Let's go back to the total signal. All right, at NASDAQ, this is a divergent signal. And this chart is showing the price for NDX with the index component signal making a lower high as the NDX index was rising, setting up a very nice divergent short. Again at that 483 call wall. And this is showing options trades and market maker hedging activity, again for the index components, NDX and QQQ. All right, so that is the NASDAQ signal. For the NASDAQ, we can also take a look at the MAG 7 signal. Very similar. Also setting up a short. And this is showing price for QQQ at 483. And that signal, the Mag 7 signal, starts to move lower. Again, setting up a very nice short on NASDAQ. All right, so let's see what's going on now. The shift to puts and calls. Yeah, maybe let's stick with the total signal. All right, so the total signal. So traders have started buying calls, selling puts in the Mag 7 stocks. Price averse is higher. Let's check the NASDAQ signal. NASDAQ signal are also starting to move higher. Check the equity signal. Looks like in this case the options traders may be following the index. Well, maybe not. Starting to rise about the same time. That's the equity signal. Let's take a look at the index signal. Then we'll get to some stocks. All right, so just a gradual turnover. In this case, it definitely looks like the index signal is following the price moving higher. Doesn't really matter when traders are buying calls and selling puts. Market makers take the opposite side of those trades. In this case, in the index components, and they have to buy ES futures to hedge their delta exposure. And they have started buying calls. That is what they're doing now in the index components. All right, back to Bookmap. Back to ES. ES making new highs now. And overall for the day, it looks like large traders have been fading this move. That's shown by the following light blue line. That's showing iceberg orders. Traders use iceberg orders to hide their size, and that is negative for the day. Traders have been fading this move all day. Large traders with iceberg orders. Now it looks like stop orders, buy stop orders, are starting to fuel the move higher, and also aggressive buyers shown by the rising blue line. So CVD shown by the dark blue line, and stop orders shown with a yellow line that's showing buy stop orders, helping to fuel that move higher. And now ES is up to its upper daily expected move. And also just above this 5680 level. That is SPX 5680, noted as resistance in the Spotgamma IM Founders Note. Let's check our SPX chart to see how close it is to the upper daily expected move for SPX. Just up there around 5,700. And again, remember, SPX is trading right around 5680 now. All right, any questions, comments about the indexes? ES or NASDAQ? All right, maybe ES finding a little resistance right around the upper daily expected move. Check NASDAQ. Still not up to its upper daily expected move yet. All right, so NASDAQ finding the resistance again at the 483 call wall. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, let's take a look at some stocks. First stock I want to take a look at is Apple. And let's see what options traders are doing. Let's go to Apple. Excuse me. All right, we're going to focus on the patterns here in Hero. So first of all, this morning, sorry about my voice again, getting over a cold. So this morning there was a bit of a call peak that's shown by this sharp move up in the call line and then a reversal, also a flow alert. Signals significant options activity, get your attention. So a little bit of a call peak just after the open. Traders start selling calls. This is a big block order, large block order, another flow alert to get your attention. Large block order, some institutional traders buying puts. And Apple moves down to the 210 key gamma strike put wall and finds support right at that level. So call peak pattern in Apple, and then bearish continuation with traders with the blue line, orange line moving the same direction, in that case down. And also another block order, large traders selling calls, large traders selling calls. All right, let's take a look at Bookmap. There's the support at that 210 put wall key gamma strike. And you can see the liquidity in the order book that acts as magnet for price at the 211.50, 210.50, and 210. Also note 215 was resistance. That's where that call peak came in. Resistant to the 250 absorption at that level, all the way down to 210. So nice short in Apple this morning. Very clear, easy to read. Hero pattern. Call peak and then bearish continuation with a couple of institutional kickoffs for a move down, continuation move down. All right, so that's Apple. Let's take a look at Amazon. Zoom in on this. So Amazon, just like Apple, it took Amazon just a few minutes, options traders in Amazon just a few minutes to decide what they wanted to do. They decided they wanted to sell calls. Sorry about that. And again, remember, this is a beta version here. Trying to zoom in. So traders started selling calls. Amazon dropped lower. 195 is the hedge wall. These levels have been in play for several days. Last week, 200 key gamma strike, 195 hedge wall. And it looks like Amazon finally found support around the 195 hedge wall. So let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to Amazon. $200 key gamma strike up above. Here's the 195 hedge wall. Price did break down below that level, but now is trading higher. Multiple pullback entries in this downtrend. Pullback entries marked by the market pulse price change indicator. And for downtrend, I'm using these green extremes in the market pulse price change for short entry points. So again, Amazon drops down to the 195 hedge wall as traders sell calls. All right, next stock, NVIDIA. And again, remember, NVIDIA in the news, excuse me, with the big conference going on this week. Traders are selling calls. They're also selling puts. So they're selling strangles. Let's take a look at the total signal to get more clarity. So the call sellers have been winning. NVIDIA moves lower as traders take negative delta options positions. And price breaks below the 122 hedge wall. So after about 10-15 minutes of chop, NVIDIA breaks down below the 122 hedge wall, down to and below the 120 key gamma strike. All right, let's go to Bookmap, go to NVIDIA. And NVIDIA, there were a lot of aggressive sellers this morning. You can see, let me reduce size of the volume dots just a little bit. But you can see all the green, magenta volume dots indicating more sellers than buyers, more aggressive sellers. For the first hour, a lot of magenta volume dots. Falling cumulative volume delta. There's the breakdown below the 122 hedge wall. Looks like some buyers have been coming into NVIDIA after 1030. Cumulative volume delta slowly rising. You can see all the green volume dots now coming in after 1030. Let's go back and check Hero. Sorry about that. All right, so sharp drop in Hero down from the open to 950, and then again down to 1040. Now Hero is pretty flat, and Nasdaq is flat as well, trying to make its way higher as aggressive buyers come in. All right, next stock, Tesla. Bit of chop in the morning, but that resolved down lower. Let's shift to puts and calls. And let's go back to the total signal, a little bit easier to see. So you can see these peaks pretty well. Setting up short entry points. So in Tesla, there was a very short, very brief, bearish opening drive, then a couple of call peaks. Then finally, Hero started to make a lower high, and Tesla moved lower. And Tesla almost always responds very closely to what options traders are doing. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Very brief, bearish opening drive, reversal higher, peak patterns. Then right around 10:15, Tesla breaks down below VWAP, moves down to the liquidity at 235. And again, market pulse price change indicator helps to mark the deeper pullbacks for short entries, in this case, in a downtrend. And one more stock. This was on my watch list as well. We'll see what options traders have been doing in Palantir. Hero Signal making a series of lower highs, setting up some divergent shorts in the morning. Zoom in on this a bit so you can see it more clearly. Hero making slow grinding down. Price is trying to move higher, setting up these short entries. All right, back to Bookmap. Zoom in on this just a bit. So Palantir, as traders were taking negative delta options positions, made a series of lower highs, finally broke down below VWAP, and quickly dropped around 3 points down to the liquidity at 85. And now it's recovering. Note aggressive buyers have been in here all day buying stock. That's shown by the rising dark blue line, green volume dots. Let's go back and see what options traders have been doing. All right, so starting about 12:45, options traders took their foot off the gas. Now they've started to take positive delta options positions. So that started right around 12:40, 12:45. That turnaround from negative delta to neutral to positive delta. And now that combined with the bullish cumulative volume delta, Palantir is moving higher. Aggressive buyers and traders now taking positive delta options positions. Let's check Nasdaq. Let's see how it's doing at the 483 call wall. All right, so now Nasdaq has broken above the QQQ 483 call wall and continues to move higher. Remember, that was resistance earlier today, just after the cash open. All right, so this is resolving into a bullish afternoon. Let's check ES. ES also well above the 566 level. That was resistance just after the cash open. Let's go back to Hero. I did post a watch list this morning. I don't see any likes next to it. I don't know if anybody's interested in that or not. There were some pre-market movers this morning, mainly quantum computing stocks that were up double digits this morning, like INQ. And these stocks were also up substantially on Friday and just chopping around today. So that's INQ, D-Wave. All right, one other stock that popped up on my watch list after the open is Celsius Holdings. I don't have that in Bookmap, but traders are buying calls and selling puts, and Celsius continues to move higher. And this one did pop up on my watch list after the open. All right, does anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? Any questions, comments, any stocks they want me to take a look at? S&P 500. This move that began with the index components right around 120 continues higher. Check the equity signal. Again, if anyone has any stocks, any questions, please let me know. I'll take a look at anything you want to take a look at. All right, so the Nasdaq, this is the S&P equities, also continues to move higher. Nasdaq continues to move higher. Mag 7 also moving higher. Very bullish moves for the indexes. Back to Bookmap. And Sean, welcome. Glad you're here. Wants to look at NOY. Not sure what that is. I doubt that's in Hero. I don't have that in a Bookmap. We can try in Hero. I doubt it's there. Is that Annalee Mortgage maybe? Or Annalee? No. And sorry, Sean. That's not available in Hero. Hero, the list of stocks available in Hero is limited. It's a subset of the total stocks in the market. All right, any other stocks? All right, so the S&P 500 index signal now looks like making a slightly lower high here. Check the equity signal. Also slowing down. Let's go to Bookmap. Looks like some aggressive sellers are starting to come in to ES now. Few magenta volume dots. Right at 57.50. Let's check Trace. See if we can get any clues from Trace. All right, so now SPX trading above this short call vertical in this iron condor. And one thing to remember is market makers are long this call vertical, so it's to their benefit for price to trade higher. And now this looks like a pocket of more neutral gamma here. Red negative gamma below and positive blue gamma, blue shading above. And we can, and also note the stability index has increased up to 36% now. Let's check charm pressure. And typically, you don't expect a very clear pinning target in a negative gamma environment. All right, back to gamma. All right, so the 56.80 level, that's that strike with the largest net positive gamma. All right, back to Bookmap now, and here's that 5680 level right here. Let's go back to Hero. Equity signal flattening out a little bit. Index signal starting to turn higher again. This is pretty typical of these two signals. The index signal is a little bit more noisy, marking the turning points a little bit more clearly, whereas the equity signal typically is a little bit smoother and does a little bit better job of marking the overall direction. Let's check Nasdaq. Index signal moving straight up. Let's compare that with NDX. Moving straight up. QQQ also moving straight up. This is very, very bullish for the Nasdaq. Check Mag 7. Also moving straight up. Very, very bullish for the Nasdaq. Let's go check Nasdaq and Bookmap NQ. Nasdaq continues to move higher. Large traders have been fading the move since about 1 o'clock, selling with iceberg orders as Nasdaq moves up. Now up to the NQ upper daily expected move. So remember, we checked that just a few minutes ago, and that was up above. Now Nasdaq has broken out above the prior resistance at the 483 call wall. Now up to the NQ upper daily expected move. Checking up above, see what might be next. All right, big target for Nasdaq is the NDX 20,000 level. That's the absolute gamma strike, put wall, and volatility trigger. All right, any questions, comments? Let's go back. So Nasdaq definitely the better trade today. Very clear Mag 7 signal, Nasdaq signal, bearish in the morning, bullish in the afternoon. And there's that 20,000 level that I mentioned earlier. Key level for NDX. And Duzman, welcome, glad you're here. Ask, could you please speak on the consolidation before the upward breakout today? Which instrument? Yes. All right, let's go to all right, so taking a look at the two signals. For the index signal here, this really kind of reversed very slowly. And then really took off right around 120, something like that. So just looking at this, more consolidation today. This, to me, looks like more price action, more typical of a positive gamma environment. But anyway, it is what it is. So that is the ES signal, the S&P 500 index signal, equity signal, pretty similar. Slow grind down after that very bullish opening drive. Consolidation. Now price starts to move higher. Again, right around, in this case for the S&P 500 equities, right around 1 o'clock. And that's when price really got going. Let's go back to Bookmap. Go to ES. So you can see this is when price started to get going. Right around 1 o'clock, as traders started more aggressively taking options delta, positive delta options positions in the S&P 500 index and equity signals. Aggressive buyers started to come in. You can see the cumulative volume delta starting to rise. And then once price got going higher, buy stop orders helping to fuel that move higher. So I'm not sure that is what you're asking about, Duzman, but really the price started to turn around 1 o'clock with aggressive buyers and traders taking positive delta options positions. Otherwise, there was not that driver. That's when that driver for price came in. All right, everyone, my time is up. I want to thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your questions and comments. Remember, big day on Wednesday. Big day on Wednesday with the FOMC. That will be during my meeting. So I will talk about I'll go through my preparation, positional analysis, and then stop whatever I'm doing at 2, and we'll take a look at the live market at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. So please join me for the FOMC announcement on Wednesday. And everyone have a great week, and I will see you again on Wednesday. Thanks. Bye.